Hi, I'm Jay, the happy colorist, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today in the early morning, as I was last time, I think, when I recorded a video, with a very exciting video, a very exciting haul that I've waited ages to show you. First of all, I want to apologize if I haven't been around as much as I have been. I think you didn't notice too much in the videos because I often pre-record them and then space them out a bit through the week. But during the last week I've had strange back pain and couldn't sit up, so most of my time was either spent at work or laying down on the couch when I came home. So I couldn't really do anything on YouTube, and also I'm really behind on watching your videos, and I hope I can catch up now because I'm feeling better now, so it should be all fine. So when I showed you my last book haul, I promised that there might be a part 2 to it, and this is it. When I watched Lovella's coloring collection, it's a while ago that she posted those videos, and she showed all of her Japanese coloring books, and I really fell in love with some of them. And then I fortunately or unfortunately for my wallet figured out that I could buy those books on the Japanese Amazon, and the price with shipping was just coming to the customs limit that I talked about in another video, so I could import all of those books without any hassle, which is for most of the Korean books or all the books that you can get on Etsy, they just are over that limit, and thus they can end up in the customs office, and then I couldn't pick them up there. So that's why I usually don't order overseas unless the book's really cheap with shipping. So, but those books all fell below that limit, so slowly I accumulated those that I really wanted, and now I have a really lovely collection of Japanese books that I've wanted for such a long time. There are one or two that I'm still eyeing, but for now, yeah, this is my Japanese book haul. Let's get right into it. As I said, really early in the morning here. I love those early mornings when the birds, they sing, and the sun isn't shining today, but if the sun were shining, then I love those when I can just sit here and just color. Yeah, it usually means that on the weekends I wake up as early or sometimes earlier than on work days, which is a bit counterproductive to getting good sleep, but I still love those mornings. Sorry, I digress. The first book I want to show you is True Love by Inko Kotoriyama, and this is actually the English edition, because I found this used as a used copy for I don't think €2 or something at the most. It's part 1 of a series of 3 books that are connected by style, and in each of the book an animal or 2 animals make a fantastical journey and has a little backstory. And I actually didn't want this book, but I wanted the one with the frog, but since this was so cheap I got it anyway. And maybe I should start from the beginning, because as I said, this is a coloring book, and it's about Lulu, who is the cow, and Nina, who are searching for Mr. Hart, but the story is very, very it's not a really big story that just goes through the book. There's 1 or 2 sentences on each page, so you could also get it in the Japanese copy. If you can't read it, then it doesn't matter too much. And I think her style has developed a bit, so I like the other 2 books a bit better than this. But when I got this, I realized how tiny and small it is. It's really thin. It's a really thin book, and so I didn't get the other 2 books because for the price felt a bit too much. But I'm still really happy that I got this, because I think it's really sweet and imaginative. The next books I got are volume... The next books I got are volume 2 and 3, I think that's the correct order, of Miki Takei's Colors Make You Happy. And that's actually those are the two books that I saw Lovello show that really just I fell in love with them so much that I had to have them, and that's where I started trying to figure out how I could get them. I didn't get the first one because that didn't appeal too much to me. The first one has more just little illustrations that don't, that seem a bit random on the page, whereas this one, these two have a theme running through them. And excuse the noise in the background, that's the cat that needs to chitter at the cross. So this is volume 2. In Japanese this says something like Dream Princess coloring book here. And you can see why. It's basically in the first part she shows like fairy tale princesses, like what she called in English, Sleeping Beauty, I think. And Cinderella with the shoe and the pumpkin here. Oh, let me try and... Okay. And it's also Cinderella, I think. This is Snow White, so you can see it's all the princesses from the fairy tales. I have a feeling this might be Tanabata, a Japanese story. I don't know, but it just looks like it could be. And then in the back half of the book, like you can see there more, somewhere. This is Alice in Wonderland. I really love all of those fairy tale. I'm such a sucker for those fairy tale books. I really, I just love them. And what really just made me fall in love with the book, as you know, I really love those like Zodiac books, and I don't even have them for some strange reason. I don't think I have even one except for the Linda Ravenscroft one where it's basically just fairies with themed flowers. So when I saw that this actually had pictures to match the Western Zodiac, I needed to have this. So in the beginning here you can see all the signs that are in here, like Libra and Scorpio and is it Lion? Leo. And then you have the matching picture on this side. So this is Taurus, and this is Gemini, and so on. They're all very, very whimsical and fun in this style that she has. And in the back here there are little cards that you can cut out. The paper quality isn't different. It's not different paper, but the paper is actually pretty okay. So it's one-sided, as you can see, so you can cut it out if you want to. So I really love this. I needed to have this. And this is, I think, volume 3. Again, it's Miki Takei Colors Make You Happy, and this basically just says Dream Happiness. That's the Japanese title. It just has these wonderful, sweet, I mean, look at this. I just think this is the most sweet picture ever, with the the apple tree and the little owl sleeping here, and it's just, oh, it's so sweet. Or the little hedgehog family, and okay, I you can tell this was the page that finally made me fall in love with. I mean, just look at the little cute dragon here with the cute bat and the cat here, and I just I was lost and needed to have this book. It's so sweet. So in the first half of the book I mean, there is some. Oh, this one with the koi. I mean, there isn't a strong theme to it. I think there are some fairy tale pictures. Like, I mean, this looks a bit like 1000. What's it called? 1001 Night. Well, that's a little literal translation. Like, you know, this the wonder, the lamp with the genie, and and the crows are back. This looks like the rose from the Beauty and the Beast. So you just have scenes that might belong to fairy tales, not the people in the fairy tales, and it's just, you know, super sweet and whimsical. I love this so much. It's so sweet. The little baby rabbits, or the little piglets, and just, you know, each of those pages. I mean, this is really just, it just makes you happy, right? You page through the book and every page just makes you happy. So, you know, true to my name, the happy colorist, I needed to have this. It's so sweet. And this one, I mean, just look at the little dolphins and the little fishies, and so what really then just made me want this book really much is that in the back half of it you have the Asian zodiac. So you have the mouse, you have the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, and oh god, look at it, it's so sweet. The snake, horse, sheep, you know, it's all the zodiac signs in super cute pictures. So it has, again, zodiac and super cute animal pictures. So those two books I really needed to have. They're wonderful. And I mean, the third one, if you like her style, is super sweet too, but it doesn't have a strong theme to it. And just lately I've discovered that I really just love pictures, coloring books that have a strong theme to it, and then play with that theme, rather than just have random pictures. So that's Miki Takei, Colors Make You Happy, Volume 2 and 3. The trend with me wanting to have books that have a strong theme continues, because this is Hana no Sampo, which by Aikawa Sora, which basically means, I think, flower walk, or flower walk, I suppose. And it's a book that shows depictions of different countries with flowers that grow there. And again, I love books that show or that illustrate for example, one country, and then have one picture for there, and then go all through the world. And this is basically what this does. It for example, this is the depiction of Switzerland, as you can obviously tell, and it says the name of the country in in English. So even though this is the Japanese copy, you can easily read this. And then it depicts, the mountain range and flowers that are native to Switzerland. And then you either have another picture, another spread for the country, or it continues depending on where it is. You see, I think she really likes Switzerland. So we have 6 pictures for there. And this is France. And it's not, as you can see, it's not only flowers. It's just, things that the artist thought typical of the country. And this is just gorgeous. Spain. I really love this. Really looks a bit like a Rita Berman picture could be, right? And it's just because it tells you that this is Italy. I'm sorry, did I say Spain? Italy. if you want to, you could just Google like pictures of a street or a house like this from Italy, and then take color inspiration from there. I mean, you don't have to. You can color it any way you want. You don't have to, follow the actual natural colors of the flowers. But it's always easier if the artist already tells you or gives you a hint of what it could be, to orient yourself on, if you want to. So that's obviously, Italy, like famous buildings and food. And the best thing about the book is, I'll show you before we get to there. In the back, it tells you where each picture is supposed to be and what it shows. And of course, now this is in Japanese. Yeah, if you don't read Japanese, it doesn't help you that much, I suppose, unless you can get it translated somehow. But if you do, then it gives you certain hints. But it's not like it's super necessary to read. I mean, basically, for example, this just says it's Germany, but it also says Germany again in English, and it basically says like that's a German castle. And here are where the flowers that are shown. So. And then here we have Germany, as I just said, with a castle in the background, and a deer and an owl. And yeah, I suppose that's what Japanese, I think, is typically Germany in many of the Japanese books. If it depicts Germany, it has something like this. England. Yeah, it goes through all of the... I don't want to do a flip through. But yeah, it has all those countries. My partner was very sad that it didn't have Denmark, but Sweden and Finland. But such is life if you're from a very, very little country. And what I really like, it also has like Canada, which isn't depicted that often, and then it also has Hawaii. And it really has just such a breadth. Tahiti, it goes from mountains in Switzerland to the snow in Scandinavia to Tahiti, so it's really just all around the world. And then of course it also has the Asian countries, Vietnam, China, and then of course that's also a reason why I really wanted this book. It has Japan, of course, with the Fuji and cherry blossoms in the wind and cats, and it has quite a lot of Japanese illustrations. So the Hachiko, if you know the story. Yeah, and as I said, back here's the index telling you which is which. Really, really wonderful book. It's pretty thin too, as you can see. But it's such a pleasure. It's so sweet. Hana no Sampo, Aikawa Sora. Don't know how you could find it. Amazon Japan. Maybe I'll just give you the links in Amazon to Amazon Japan, so you don't have to search for it. This is another one that I really wanted to have. This is Animal Fantasy Season. Dobutsu no Fantasy Season is what it says. And it's by Ode Yukako Ode. Again, I'll just link you the Japanese Amazon, so you can just click it, and you don't have to, if you don't have the Japanese script installed, you don't have to, I don't know, copy, paste, search for whatever to actually get to there, because I don't think you can, I think if you search for Fantasy Season you might get it, but with some of the books it's pretty hard. And this is just the sweetest book, and not only is it sweet because of the illustrations, but also again has a theme running, and the theme is, as it says, it's the fantasy season. So the book goes through all the months from January to December, and down here it always indicates which month it is. and then goes through the seasons. And in the back of the book, it shows a map with all the places you go through, and with the page numbers. So that is so sweet. So I love those little maps. So, and I love this book, and I want to try and maybe just color one page in each month, the corresponding page. So for example, for April, this is June, May, still May, this is April, very fitting, of course. And maybe I'll just do this page for Easter, I don't know yet, but it usually has several pages, usually 2 to 4 for each month. This is also April, as you can see, still with all the cheekies. So, oh god, I love this. Just look at a little hedgehog, and here it is again, and just, it's full of those little super cute hedgehogs. So, and I love this because it just goes through the season. So here we're in October, obviously, with Halloween. There's 2 Halloween pages even. Oh, 4 Halloween pages, man. Just September, autumn, late summer. And I think in the end, I bet it has Christmas. Oop. Yeah. It's just so cute with all the little animals. And in the very back of the book you have, as you have in many Japanese books, cards that you can cut out. And this is actually thick cardstock, if you want to. And they're just so insanely cute. So postcards here, little note cards, little gift tags, I think. Yeah. Fantasy Season, Dobutsuno, Fantasy Season by Ode, Yukako. And then I got 2 books by Eriy, and compared to the others, they're really massive, and they also have really thick paper. Eriy from her Romantic Country series, but these 2, as far as I know, haven't been picked up by a Western publisher, though, so you can only get them in Japanese. And the idea of both of these books is that you trace the images, so the outlines are very faint. I'll show you, and then I'll try to maybe edit the video a bit so that the outlines show up a bit better. In real life they're super faint, so if your eyesight isn't good, then you might have a bit of trouble with this. But I think as an idea it's pretty cool, because as already in Romantic Country, the outlines weren't dark black, and if you wanted to color over it, you could make vanish pretty easily, so you don't have to use like Posca pens or similar to make the black outlines go away. And this is the whole idea behind these books, if I understood that correctly. So this is basically I've seen it translated as retracing around the world, and the book has a gimmick that the wrapping of the book is actually something to color into, and has a map inside, and it's super thick. Can you see? It's by a different publisher though than the Japanese Romantic Country books, so I'm hoping that the paper is different. So in the beginning it even shows you that you're supposed to outline it any way you want, which is I suppose you didn't need to color it. You could just outline it. I don't know. It's up to you what you want to. And in the beginning here, it gives you a little indication of all the places that it's shown, and you can just check mark them if you have been there and when you have been there. That's really sweet. I've traveled lots, especially in the past, not so much in the last years, but when I was studying, but I mostly traveled only to Japan, so I've seen a lot of Japan, but not many different countries, so it'd be a bit sad. But anyways, so in the beginning it always shows you a map of all the places that are shown, with a little description and flavor text, and this is again all in Japanese, but you can kind of guess because of the placement of the map where each place is. So for example, it always says the country in the brackets here. So this is Iceland, and this is Norway, and Finland, and Russia, and so on. So I mean, most of these are pretty recognizable too. This is, by the way, Denmark, which made my boyfriend really happy, even though the houses are bigger than the actual country. But let's not tell him. And it continues here with all of the places in Europe, and you can see how many illustrations are in this book. Germany is somewhere in here too, I think. There. Again, you know, classical Japanese view of Germany. And another one, castles. And then we actually, and this is why I really like this book, we continue on to Africa, and there are many books out there that show places around the world, but a lot of them are mid-Africa. So I'm really happy that Eriy chose to really go around all of the world, and also put some African countries in here. We continue. And this is how the outlines are. They're very faint. I'm going to try and see whether I can make them show up better on the video, but this is how it looks if you open the book. So if it seems that the lines are darker later in the video, it's just because I edited the picture to show better, because I think this is a bit hard to see for you. Yeah, so we start with France, and as you can see, you don't need to be able to read Japanese to know which picture is where, because she, in English, she indicates on each picture where we are. So that makes it pretty easy for you. So we're in France, and for example, this one is really reminiscent of Romantic Country, with a girl and the little cute cat. And it's just, you know, it's her signature style. It's super sweet. In the UK, and I just, you know, flip through a bit. It's a really thick book. It shows such a lot of pictures, and as we have been Europe and Africa, after we've gone through that, she shows another map with more, you know, more pictures. So this is this is Oceania, New Zealand, and she chose so many countries that usually aren't represented, which I thought was so cool. So Nepal, Cambodia is here, of course Japan, super sweet with the little bunnies, South Korea, Dominican Republic, Cuba. It's such a sweet book. It's so thick, I won't go through it all, but if you want me to, you know, do a flip through review, look at all of it, just let me know. But if I do that, then we'll never get to the end of this video. So this is basically Tracing Around the World by Eriy. And then this is the other tracing book that she has out, and it's pretty new. I think it only released early this year, and I only knew about it because Coloring F, I think in one of her book, she showed her book collection, and she showed Tracing Around the World, and then said that Eriy had another book out, and so I went and checked, and this is the second book, and this is all about festivals of the world. So I had to get this too. It's the same size and thickness of the Tracing Around the World book, and because it's also supposed to be tracing the line art, is very, very faint. It has the same thing going on. Doesn't have anything special with the cover though. So in the beginning, the book again goes through all the seasons and depicts one picture for each like festival. And here it's a bit unfortunate that she doesn't indicate more in English, except for the month, because I mean, in the beginning this is obviously New Year's, right? But some of these are a bit hard to spot because I never heard about them. She has some very special festivals in here. She always gives the date if it's on a fixed date, or if it's not, then she usually, I mean, that's when it's in Japanese, then when it is. I'm going to do a flip through of this because I haven't seen it anywhere and shown by anyone. So let me just quickly show this off to you, and if you're interested, I'll do a longer flip through video. So you have all the little the overview of all the pictures here with the dates. And again, I thought I could just try and color one picture each month with a corresponding festival. So let's get into the book. Again, she shows you some. Oh yeah, that's interesting. She shows some examples of her colored pictures with people on Instagram. As you can see, this is Natume Andante. You can go and check out. And here we go into the book, and as you can see again, the line art is very, very faint grey, and it's basically just her signature style, as you can see. But some of these seem a bit simpler to me than in her other books. Just I'm going to just quickly show you a couple so you can get a guess. Oh, this is so sweet. There's one that I really loved. I need to show you that. Oh, where was it? I think it was more early on. This one. Of course, you the little cats, and there's a little witch, and I was confused, and it indicated that it was a German holiday even. I was so confused at the end of April, and I've never heard of it. And then I translated the Japanese, and of course, this is for Walpurgis night, where the witches fly around the mountain and dance around the bonfire. Isn't that a sweet depiction of it? Really makes me happy. It's so sweet. And yeah, I really like that she has, some of the very obscure festivals I've never heard about. Just, so you can learn a lot about, festivals in other countries. And this is so sweet. So, of course it has Christmas. Like, traditional American Christmas with the stockings and the tree and the cat. And for all you Aussies, Australian Christmas with well, I suppose it can't be a snowman, can it? I don't know. Do you make them from sand? I don't know. But Australian Christmas with a surfing board. I love this. The idea of showing both. Yeah, I'll have a flip through of this up in the channel if you're interested. But if you like a themed book that goes through the seasons and shows different kind of festivals, if you like her art style, then, and maybe also a bit easier pictures, then this is the book for you. Oh my god, that was way longer than I intended it to be. As you can see, I'm super happy with all of these books. I've wanted all of them so much, and I'm so happy to have them in my collection, to have this little Japanese part of my collection now. And say hi to the cat. Maybe this was a bit rambly. I'm sorry. If you want to have flip throughs of any of these books, even though for half of them I already gave you some just because I loved looking at all the pictures, just let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. As you can tell, I love these books. I think I need to make a color along, a Japanese artist color along or something at some point, just to give myself opportunity to color in all of these. So thank you so much for watching through all of this video. Keep your eyes peeled for my flip through of the Tracing Around the Festivals by Eriy, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Have a great weekend or week or whatever it is when you're watching this video, and bye!